Man, these people are soulless. So now they're calling into question Christina Wansley, Nolan Wells' mother, all because she wanted to do an independent investigation and not listen to these W folks. A lot of these people are soulless, and I'm glad that this is happening because it's just exposing just so much of this foolishness. Now, when y'all was all happy with them pushing everything back to the state, this is why we had to get the federal government to come in because you can't trust these people. Now you can't even trust you can't even trust them. Remember I told y'all we got to go back to the same W folks to get justice, the ones that's been causing us the injustice, right? But look at this. Nolan Wells' mom nursing board investigation anonymous complaint. Crump calls it intimidation, right? Right? Nolan Wells' mom, Christina Wosley, is having her professional conduct called into question, but her family attorney, Benjamin Crump, says it's just bogus intimidation tactic, right? Here's the deal. So let's hold on. Let's make this bigger, right? Here's the deal. Crump announced Wednesday that the Mississippi Board of Nursing has undertaken a professional misconduct investigation into Christina's job performance based on an anonymous complaint filed against her after Nolan's mysterious death, right? Crump said the complaint is a warning shot at a grieving mother meant to pressure and scare her into staying quiet. He says the person who filed it is too embarrassed to put their name on it. He adds, it's a distraction, it is intimidation, and we will not let it stand. Christine had part of her identity stolen from her the day Nolan died. Now somebody is trying to take another piece of it. This cruelty knows no bounds. Man, this is crazy. Crumb says the timing of the complaint is incredibly suspicious, arguing Christine never received a complaint before, but all of a sudden, one comes out of the blue right after Nolan dies. He says this just shows the family is asking the right questions, and they'll keep at it. As you know, Nolan went missing July 4th after spending the day at Horn Island with his friends. He was found unalive 2 days later on Horn Island near where he was last seen alive, right? Multiple people have been arrested for allegedly threatening witnesses in the aftermath of Nolan's unaliving, but no one has yet to be arrested in the connection of his unaliving. The investigation is still ongoing. Now, I want y'all to understand something. They arrested people on the other side that they said was threatening the judge, right? The stepmother of one of the suspects, right? Suspects. They haven't been charged with anything, right? But this woman has been receiving unaliving threats too. They haven't arrested anybody. Right, this woman is being harassed. They on her job. They doxing her. She's a nurse. She makes good money. They're leaving her bad reviews. Brandon Tatum. Nobody's talking about this. And all this woman wants is a grieving mother that's looking for justice for her son. This is what she's saying.
Hey, Boo Bears. Let me say this. My husband and I are going to continue to advocate. I know so many people are like, oh my God, you need to stay off social media. You need to give it a break. Well, just know I'm not on social media all day. I'm not. I've been heavy in my Kindle. And then, of course, too, I have other children that I take care of. But occasionally I do pop on. Most of the time I just post, come off. But trust and believe that I'm doing the things I need to do to take care of my mental. And sometimes posting does feel nice because I get to check in with my different boo bears and see how everyone is doing. But again, like, if you have an issue with me advocating and asking questions, I don't think I'm the problem, babe. I think you're the problem. I think you need to take a step back and ask yourself, why are you so triggered? Or what is causing you to be so upset that I am asking for answers? That is it. That is all. Never ask for special treatment, none of that. But there are just a lot of people who's bothered. But what I will tell you is that there are a lot more people who, despite the nasty negative narratives that are trying to be thrown out there, there's a lot of other people supporting me and my husband Elmore, and we just appreciate that.
Now, again, this is the thing. Everybody knows the history of this country. Every people knows Mississippi and what happened. People know damn right this woman has every right to go through every means that it takes to find out what happened to her boy, right? She hasn't accused those boys of anything. She's just trying to figure out what happened. What she knows is he was the last. They was the last people he was seen with, and there's no transparency and nobody's saying nothing. Everybody knows this, but we dealing with a lot of soulless parasites. We dealing with a lot of horrible, horrible people. That's just what it is, man, and it's unfortunate. People that look like us and people that look like them. Yes, it's not just W folks. You have people that look like us that'll do anything to get the crumbs and the butter biscuits off those tables, man. Right? When we saw the Carmelo Anthony case and they saw what happened to Austin Metcalf, they went crazy, right? They went crazy. Even when all the facts wasn't out. They went crazy. They was even harassing that black judge, right? Now look at this situation, right? This woman is not allowed to grieve. They're harassing her at her job. They're doing all kinds of horrible things to her. And all she wants to do is find out what happened to her son.
Just as parents, losing a child, I'm telling you y'all, it hits different. My mom passed away. It's going to be 8 years. And this hurt, I've said this in another video, this hurt is different. This is like a soul-wrenching hurt. Like you feel like your heart is just being ripped out. Like, I don't even know if that's even a good way to describe this hurt, but yeah. But I just want to say thank you guys. Like I'm telling y'all, like, thank you so much. Thank you to all the content creators who are using their podcasts, their platforms, all those things to make sure that Nolan's story is going. Like, I appreciate y'all. And I know I say thank you all the time, but even when I'm broken, like I still need to give thanks, whether it's thanking the Lord for another day, thanking him for the time we had with Nolan, or just simply saying thank you to you guys for just loving on me and my family and your prayers. And I appreciate it. I'm sorry I can't get back to everybody because it is overwhelming, but just know I appreciate you and I love you. And I'm going to go clean up and get my life together.
Now, we all see this, right? Where's the justice for this woman, this grieving mother whose son was unalived? Right? Where is the feds coming in to protect her and her family? Huh? I mean, this goes back to, again, when the situation with the Carmelo Anthony case, when a lot of you Negroes out there was out there counting their money and talking about what they doing with their money, but y'all didn't ask what Daniel Penny did with his. Yeah, you Negro, and not all you black people out there, you fake ass conservatives. None of y'all questioned what Daniel Penny did with his money, right? But you was questioning what Carmelo Anthony and his family was doing with the money that they was receiving for the people, right? So then we segue it back to this woman, Christina Walmsley. Nobody's caring about her and her well-being and the attacks. The police ain't looking out for her. All they talking about is Ben Crump being in town. Right? The bias is right there. As if we should just trust you guys. We can clearly see how this thing is taking place. Why should we trust you in America? If y'all people had souls, knowing the history of Mississippi, when you have fresh cases from 2016 to now, that's fresh cases, you would say, you know what? There's an independent investigation. We don't like it, but we understand why African Americans want, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, or whatever you want to take independent investigation. We understand, right? And we're going to be as full transparent because we're not racist, and we're going to be full as transparent as possible. Now, Ben Crump was on the Art of Dialogue, and he talked about some of this. He said this.
Hearing that she even receiving hate mail.
Oh man, they're getting all kind of attacks and threats, and obviously, it's just a shame before God. We come and we start trying to fight for the life of this young Black child and to get answers, and then we get threats and death threats and attacks and hate mail and all this stuff. But we're used to it because this is what we do. We're civil rights lawyers, and we know that civil rights leaders have always been attacked. Whether it was my personal hero, Thurgood Marshall, his life was always under threat when he was just trying to find out how did Black people end up hung in trees, castrated with their eyes bulged out. But they will blame us as being race baiters when we're saying, hold on, we want answers, because if this was your loved one, this was your family, wouldn't you want answers too? I mean, but we're made to be the people who are the bad people, and that is fine because they did it to, Thurgood Marshall, they did it to Martin Luther King, they did it to Medgar Evers, they did it to Fannie Lou Hamer, they did it to, Ida B. Wells, who documented that the state of Mississippi is the state that had the most lynchings in the history of America. And all of them were attacked for just trying to shed light, to speak truth to power, to try to say we have rights as Americans to the Constitution and to vote and to have the right to life and not to be wrongfully convicted. But all of those people I named my heroes were condemned by the state of Mississippi while they were fighting for equal rights. And so, if people are going to condemn us, then I guess we're in good company with Thurgood Marshall and Martin Luther King and Medgar Evers and Fannie Lou Hamer and the great Ida B. Wells. I'm okay being in that company. My ancestors fought for us to be able to have a voice and speak truth to power. And shame on us if we don't speak truth to power when we have all of the education and legal acumen and resources to be able to go give a voice to those who don't have a voice, to be able to help fight for marginalized people, to help fight for what my grandmother called the least of these. Shame on us if we don't stand up and fight for them because our ancestors fought for us.
And you receiving threats too, right?
Oh man, they're making all kind of attacks and threats on me and Reverend Al and anybody else who's standing up. But we're used to that. That's just a distraction.
Now, this is the thing. If Nolan's family and the judge and everybody was receiving any unalived threats, then there should be an arrest. Yes. But it should be the same for the other side. Yet the Fed's making all these arrests, but this woman's being harassed too. She's been harassed, Crump is being harassed, and there's crickets. Nothing. Right? Nothing. She's being investigated. She's the one with the unalived son. Right? But this is the history of Mississippi. I told you guys, I showed a video of so many black boys that was unalived in Mississippi from 2019 that was ruled suicides, that people had independent autopsies that ruled that they was homicides. But again, they didn't have the national coverage to come down there to help them. So now they have national coverage down there. They're doing everything they can do to try to protect these people and cover it up. Now, I'm not saying that they did anything, but where there's smoke, there's fire. And what's taking so long for them to be transparent with the family? What the hell are you hiding? You're trying to just wait and see if another big story will come, and we'll just move on to the next story. We dropping our anchor. We're gonna plant right here. And when this come out, and if this come out that there was foul play, we're going to open up a whole bunch of other cases, right? With the police department and the coroner and everything else that you guys have been covering up. It's time for the chickens to come home to roost. It's time. It's in the age of exposure, man. It's time. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button, subscribe to Street Media TV, leave your comments in the comment section, and remember, I love y'all. Till the next time. Peace.